Welcome back, YouTube, to the Ron Paul 2008 channel's feature on You Choose 2008. Today, you're going to hear Dr. Paul talk about defending your Second Amendment rights.
The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, is important to a lot of Americans. Why do you think that is?
Well, the founders were very clear about it, and the assumption went without saying that everybody can have a gun to go out hunting because everybody was a hunter. But they wanted to be explicit that individuals own guns because they never wanted to have the populace disarm. Matter of fact, they encouraged and they believed that each community and each state would have a militia, which was just a group of people who could be called up in an emergency to be deputized for protection. But the gun really was, that Second Amendment was provided, ironically, and a lot of people don't understand this, but it was to protect against abuse of government, because they needed guns to protect against the abuse of the king. They saw the Second Amendment as very, very important. Of course, I see it as so important because I think it was the lack of respect for the Second Amendment that contributed a whole lot to the disaster of 9/11. Because if individuals are responsible to defend themselves or their property, my guess is that if the government hadn't taken over security on the airlines, maybe the airlines would have said that a pilot could have kept a pistol up front and don't let anybody mess around. But unfortunately, before 9/11, they weren't allowed to have guns. They're still really not allowed. At the same time, the government told us not to resist. Right. So they did exactly the opposite. No wonder, well, this was an opening for people who wanted to do us harm. But the Second Amendment is crucial. And if you think about it, you know, the lack of respect for the Second Amendment is in the areas of our country that needs the Second Amendment the most. And this is, to me, so discriminatory, and that's in our inner cities. You go to the inner cities where there's the most crime, and yet if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're not allowed to defend against the crime. Right. So you're not allowed to have a gun in the inner city. So this, to me, is discriminatory. And, of course, there's a lot of laws against guns and drugs, and yet you have more violence in so many inner cities. So I think respect for the Second Amendment would go a long way to helping cut down on the violence and the killing of innocent people in many of our inner cities throughout the country.
Okay.